At Culebra Cut, the 9-mile dig through the Continental Divide, the battle between man and nature climaxed. Like the French, American engineers underestimated the amount of dirt to be removed. They too discovered that the more they dug, the more they had left to dig. In a matter of hours, giant mudslides wiped out a whole month's work. Avalanches of mud, tropical glaciers of mud and rock. Because of the mud, every vehicle and piece of equipment had to run on tracks. And because of the incessant rain and sweltering heat, working conditions were intolerable. Yet for 7 years, day and night, the cut was never silent. For 7 years, machines stopped only for maintenance and repair. For 7 years, chief engineer George Goethals predicted that the slides would stop. But the slides did not stop. Goethals had replaced John Stevens as chief engineer in 1907. He carried to a conclusion Stevens' master plan for digging and for getting rid of the dirt. Getting rid of the dirt had baffled the French 20 years earlier. Compared to the French, American equipment was twice as big, twice as powerful, and 5 times more efficient. One factor, however, remained the same. The men who actually built the canal, the laborers, the operators, were predominantly black. And predominantly from the islands of the West Indies. Of all the struggles at Panama, the excavation at Culebra Cut was by far the worst, and by far the most magnificent. It was the special wonder of the canal. People came from all over the world to see the 9-mile canyon through the Continental Divide, and they came to see the famous slides. Even after the canal was completed, the slides did not stop. A slide in 1915 closed operations for 7 months. Because of the unstable elements, the cut, now renamed Gaillard, requires constant surveillance. Drilling and dredging have never ceased. A sea-level canal or a lock canal. The decision to build a lock canal was not made until 1906, 2 full years after construction had started. And the decision to build a lock canal made most of the French excavation useless. At Panama, there are 6 locks, 3 sets at each end of the canal. These locks raise ships 85 feet above sea level. Upon completion, they surpassed any similar structures in the world in size and movement. A single lock stood on end, was taller than the Eiffel Tower, And unlike a bridge or building, they did not just stand there. They worked. They had thousands of moving parts. Concrete poured by the ton had to move within a framework of inches. The whole locking operation depends upon 9 months of heavy rainfall and gravity. Water flows downhill into Lake Gatun. Water flows downhill into the locks. And for each ship that passes through the canal, 52 million gallons of fresh water are dumped into the sea. The water consumed by the canal in 1 day, the water consumed in 1 day would keep the city of Boston supplied for 2 weeks.